Welcome to the TypeScript Node Express and MongoDB tutorial. So in this tutorial, we have already seen introduction of the TypeScript and explanation of the project structure. We set up the MongoDB connections. We added HTTP request error handling middleware and the login and the registration API with the JWT authorization and the schema validation. Same we added for the to-do with schema validation and the authorization. Create, read, update, delete APIs. You can check the link of the full playlist in the upper right corner. So today we are going to add the Swagger API documentation. So basically we will be using Swagger UI Express NPM package for this. The Swagger UI is a popular tool for visualizing and interacting with APIs that adhere to the OpenAPI specification. It allows developers to explore and test their APIs using a user-friendly web interface. So let's get started. I will add to NPM package the Swagger UI Express and the YML.js. The Swagger UI Express package I am using to integrate Swagger UI into our Express application, making it easier to understand and test our APIs. And next, the YML.js. The YML.js package I am using to allow to parse YML files and convert them into the JavaScript object. The YML is often used for the configuration file, and this package helps reading and manipulating the YML. So we'll write this Swagger documentation in the YML file, and the YML just will convert this to this JavaScript object. So I will first install it. So you can see it's installed. Next, I will install the types of this Swagger UI Express and the YML.js. So the package @type/Swagger UI Express and the @type/YML.js I will be adding as the dev dependency. This package provides TypeScript type definition for the Swagger UI Express and the YML.js package, ensuring that our code get proper type checking and auto completion when using this package in the TypeScript project. Now I will run the server. I started the server as a development mode, and here I am using the node mode so that if I do any changes in the code base, I don't need to restart the server every time. So in the nodemon.js config, I will also add the YML so that if there is changes in the YML, it can detect and restart the server. Now I will be adding the config YML or the API YML. Now I will add the OpenAPI specification in YML format. I will use the OpenAPI specification version 3.0.2. You can see whenever I am writing the OpenAPI spec, the server is restarted every time. So here info object contain the metadata about the API, the version. I will keep it 1.0.0 and the title of our OpenAPI spec and the description. And the servers, actually the server section defines the base URLs of the API. In case there is one server specified, you can define more than one server here, the development servers, also the production servers. Next, I will set up Swagger UI within our Express application by importing the library Swagger UI Express and the YML.js in the app.ts. So here I imported the YML.js library to handle the loading of YML files, and I am imported the Swagger UI Express to set up Swagger UI with in our Express application. Next, I loaded the API.yml where we have the OpenAPI spec. These lines basically read and parse the content of the YML file, which contains the OpenAPI spec. The result is a JavaScript object representing our API documentation. And next, I defined the routes here. This sets up basically the middlewares. Whenever a request made to the /API/docs, the following middleware function will be executed and serves the user UI assets, HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript in the Swagger UI interface. So now we will see in the browser. Now, if I go to the localhost 3001/API docs, you can see the Swagger, whatever we defined in our YML file to do CRUD with API authentication and the authorization. Here we have the servers, and we didn't define any route yet, login or registration API or the to-dos API. That's why no operation defined in spec. Now we'll add those APIs in our OpenAPI spec. So I added the API/API/register. We have the registration API. So now we will see in here the browser. You can see it's added here, the post request/API/register. And if I open it, and the schema, we take the reference here, the registration payload, and we have the tags also, so we have to define those. If I show you the request body of the registration API from the Postman, so you can see the registration API, we have the email, password, first name and the last name in the payload. So we'll define same in our OpenAPI spec. So next the properties will be, Next, I will check the server if it's restarted or not. So it's successfully restarted. Now I'll go to the browser and refresh this API docs. And you can see the schema here, the registration payloads, and we have the tag auth authentication APIs. In the authentication APIs, we have the registration APIs. And in the payload, I can see the email, password, first name and the last name with example. Now I will open it, create account in an application, and I will try it out. So I can try with these examples. You can see the payload is pre-populated with these examples. You can change if you want to. Here I can see a defect. The responses is not coming. The responses example, whatever we defined, the 200, 201, 400 and the 500. So I will check in the OpenAPI spec. So here you can see it's the response instead of the responses. So it will be responses. Now I will go to here and I will restart this or refresh this and I will expand. And here you can see the responses comes. This is the example. Now I will try it out, registration, and I will execute. And you can see this is the call command of this HTTP request. And here I am getting the 201 user created. And here is our response body and the response header. You can copy this call command and you can go to Postman and you can paste it here to check if it's okay or not. Just paste like this and you can see it's the post API register, and the body we have the email, password, first name and the last name. You can make similar request from the Postman by pasting the call command. So our user John Doe is created. Next, similarly we will add the login and the rest of the to-do APIs in the OpenAPI spec. If you see the login request body, we have the email and the password. That's why in the schema of the login payload, I defined the email and the password. And for the login, don't have any 201 created response. We can have the 200, 400 or the 500. You can see the login API is added here, and the login payload, you can see the email and the password. Now we'll try it out, this login API, and I will check. You can see it's executed and it gave us the 200 response with the token, JWT token, uh, which we can use for the future APIs, for the to-dos APIs to authenticate those APIs. So if I quickly check the to-do APIs, whatever we have, the create to-do, so API slash to-dos with title, and get to-do list, API slash to-do, get to-do with ID, update to-do. User can update its title by providing the ID and delete to-do. So next we'll add those APIs in the OpenAPI spec. So I added the create to do. You can see new tags added here, the to do card APIs and the post slash APIs slash to dos. Now I will try it out this to dos. You can see the authorized user can create to do item, and here we have the title. And if I try it out and execute, so you can see it's giving the 401 undocumented, 401 basically the unauthorized users, auth token is not supplied. So I will document here the 401 also. Here I define the security scheme, name the BRR auth, the type is the HTTP security scheme, and the BRR here indicates that is the BRR token authentication scheme, and the BRR format JWT specify the expected format of the BRR token, which is JWT, the JSON web token. And here the security BRR auth basically specify the requirements of the operations. In this case, it's the BRR token JWT authentication. Next, I will go to the browser, and you can see here is the authorize button we have, and in this API to do, now we'll authenticate it. If I authorize, so first I will log in and get the token. So now I have the token, I will copy it. Now I will authorize, provide the token here. I authorized. Now I will try it out this to do's API, the API creation, and I will execute. You can see the call command here. We have the authorization header with the BRR token, which I provided recently. And here we have the successful response 201 created, and the title, whatever created, it's returned with this Mongo ID. Similarly, I will add the list to do's and rest of the APIs. So I think we added all the APIs of the to-dos. Now I will check from the browser. You can see we have the registration API, the auth APIs, registration and login, and the to-do. We have the create to-do, get to-do list, update to-do, get to-do item by ID, and delete to-do item. Now we already tested the create to-do. Now I will test the get to-do. I will try it out and execute. And auth token is not supplied. I have to first fetch the token by login. I have to authorize. Now if I execute, you can see it's 200 successful, and the to-dos we have the to-do 101 and the my sample to-do 101, which I created at 23rd January. Next I will get this ID and try to get to-do by ID. Here's the parameter. No parameters is defined. I have to define the parameter here. Now if you see the get to-do by ID, you can see the parameter, and we can put the parameter by try it out. I will put the parameter whatever I copied, and it will be the path parameter. And if I execute now, you can see the request slash API slash to-do slash the to-do ID, and here I am getting this sample to-do. And if I get this one, and if I provide here, and if I execute, then to-do 101, which created previously. Now I will update the to-do. In this one I will update. I will try it out and update to-do 101, updated at 6:35 p.m. and I will execute, and you can see this successfully updated. Now I will list those out. If I execute now, and you can see the my sample to 101 updated at 6:35 p.m. and similarly I can get by ID, so it's updated. Now I will delete this one. I will execute, and you successfully delete it. Now I will try to fetch this, and you can see the to-do is null. And if I list out this one, get API to-dos, and you can see we only have one to-do which we created previously, but the current one is deleted now. So that's it for this video. I hope you like the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, please share my video, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.